See, last time, it took me 3 tries so far. But I was talking about the whole thing with my dad and everything that happened. But basically, what happened was after he got home, like 2 weeks after all that, and he was on his medication and stuff, and he started drinking. Him and my stepmom got into a big old fight, and my stepmom took my brother to Marietta. Well, it's actually a little town before Marietta, but it's kind of weird because like I haven't ever seen this dude since that day, and I had an uncle that lived down there and ran into him every once in a while, like a couple times. But he would always ask him like, "Hey, have you talked to your dad?" And he'd always say no. So my dad always held like you can see it bothered him. Like he wanted to know how he was and stuff, and it sucks because like my dad, if you know my dad, he loves his kids. Like he was one of the first single fathers in Zanesville to raise his kids by himself. And needless to say, in that situation, like he was proud of doing that, but in that same scenario, he was raising us by himself. Well, when they split up, like I said, this dude went from working 3 jobs to not doing nothing. He went from that to staying at my grandma's house. Like we moved to my grandma's, and she was on Social Security. He was on Social Security at this point. So he got like $600 a month, and she got like $700 a month. But it took both of their checks to. He paid the bills and she paid the rent, and it was nothing left over. And people don't understand that. Like when you got Social Security and stuff like that, like they don't cover rent, especially today. Now, needless to say, back then I was 8-9 years old. And I remember Christmas come around, and it was kind of weird because like you could tell something was bothering him, but you know we as kids we didn't know what was going on. Like all we ever did was go outside and play. So when it comes to like finances and stuff like that, we had no idea what was what. But I come to learn real quick what money means. And Christmas come around that year, and like I said, my brother's just turned 9. I just turned 8. We got our tree up. My grandma put her Christmas tree up, and you know everybody's happy. Christmas is coming around and stuff, and everybody's like, "Ready for Christmas? You ready for Christmas?" I'm like, "Sure," you know. Because before this, we always had a Christmas, and there was times that like family would step in and help my dad pay for like help with some of the Christmas and stuff. Because like I was saying, when you work, you get 2 options: you can pay your bills and you have nothing left over, or you can pay your bills, or you can buy all your toys and you have whatever you want, but your bills ain't gonna be on. And that's pretty much the way it is. And anybody's got any common sense knows that if you live off of a single family income, you're not gonna make it in this world. Like you don't make enough, and then like welfare and everything else don't step in and help, because the second you get a job that's on payroll, they take all your help. And just to give you an idea, like no matter what, I don't care if you get a job for 10 hours a week, welfare is done with you. They think if you make $200 a month as a single person, and this is anybody outside of being married, they think that you should be able to go out and find $200 a month, regardless of what the situation is, and that's more than enough to feed you for the month. They don't take accountability for, like, they don't add in rent, they don't add in actually having a house. They expect you to live on somebody's couch. They expect you to trip every $200 a month, no matter what, and that's more than enough for you to take care of yourself. And in the real world, that don't work like that. Because, see, I grew up dirt floor poor. I'm talking like, that's what I was saying, like, when Christmas, I was getting to the point about Christmas and stuff, like, when that year come around. Like, it was hard for me to get off on my own because, like, to think off on my own, because when I was 8 years old, like, Christmas stopped. Birthday presents stopped. Like, we didn't have none of that stuff. And I'm 8 years old now. Remind you. Christmas passed. I go to school. All my friends have all this new stuff, and they're like, "What'd you get for Christmas?" I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And it was hard to see people open up presents and stuff like that. And I just had to watch them open them. But needless to say, I never should have went to someone else's house and watched them open Christmas presents at that time. Because what it was, Mom would say, "Hey, you want to come over for a little bit? We're going to be opening up presents." And I was like, "Yeah, cool." So I went over there and watched them all open up the stuff or whatever. And because he lived across the street from my grandma. And I went over there and watched it. It just, I don't know, it left like a hole in my heart. You know what I mean? Like, dang, this stuff sucks. Everybody getting all this stuff, and I didn't get nothing. My brother didn't get nothing. Well, that night, my aunt showed up, and she had like 3 or 4 presents apiece for me and Raji. And we got them. It was like a shirt, a hat, and I think she got me a coat or Raji a coat. It was one of it. We got one of us got a coat. I think it was Raji because I ended up with it after he grew out of it. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, like, this is the snowball effect of, like, living life that you would never think that you're gonna live. And it made it really bad when he lost his job and stuff like that. And they really, I mean, you're talking about someone that could just pay bills. Like, he was doing what he had to do to take care of us and stuff, but there was nothing left over. Don't get me wrong, like, dude worked 3 jobs. He hustled. He did whatever he could. Like, he worked on cars. He did whatever he could to make money. But with everything going on, you know, you got 5 people in your family. You know, money's nothing to that. Like, I spend $200 a day now, and it barely covers the basics. Like, I put $40 in gas. I buy 2 packs of cigarettes. That's $60. I make $200 a day. So that leaves me with $140. So I get home, I go to the store. I usually stop on the store on the way home. I grab whatever essentials we need, like soap, toilet paper, stuff like that. It's usually about $30, $35, $40, depending. And then you got food. There's 3 meals a day. There's the other half of that money. And that's why I said that you can either live comfortable or you can have your bills on and live comfortable, or you can just make it. And like I said, when you don't have like welfare and stuff like that, like, I don't know how people make it. But needless to say, I'm getting down the rabbit hole. Getting back to my dad and that whole scenario with him leaving my mom and stuff, and how it, like, just destroyed me and my brother. We made it through that Christmas, and it was like every Christmas after that, every birthday after that was the same way. We didn't get nothing. Like, where my one aunt brought stuff that time, like, she brought us a couple presents apiece. It didn't happen after that. And I think it was because they felt bad because they seen that my dad didn't have nothing under the tree the whole year, that whole month. And but yeah, it really put a hole in my heart, because, like, I didn't have a mom to turn to, you know what I mean? So when it comes to, like, hey, like, why do I feel this way? My dad's like, just suck it up. Like, 8 years old, dude, grow up. And he was the type of guy that if he told you twice, he's smacking you in your face. Like, he flat out, he would light you up. So I learned to stay away from him. he told me one day, he's like, hey, go ask the neighbor for if she's got any change. And I was like, for like, it's embarrassing. He's like, no, go next door, knock on the door, answer the door. I want you to ask them if they got any change. And I'm like, why? I need a pack of cigarettes. So I did. And they didn't have none. So I come back. I was like, they didn't have money. Because my neighbors, they were just as poor as we was. And he made me knock on every door on our street. And there's like 5 houses on our street. And I knocked on every door. Needless to say, the old man, Miss Morrison, and Mr. and Miss Morrison, that lived like a couple doors up from us, gave me $2. So I come back, and he was like, go over to the Dozer's bar and put that $2 in that machine and get me a pack of cigarettes. So I went over to Dozer's and told him to say, hey, I need some quarters for a cigarette machine. I'll tell you how young. I'm 8 years old. So she's like, you can't buy cigarettes. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, this is how naive we was. She's like, you can't buy cigarettes. And I was like, why? And this is back then. Back in the 90s. It was 1990. She's like, you're not 18. I was like, okay. So I went home, told my dad, they're not letting me buy cigarettes. So he wrote a note. Said, let this dumbass buy me a pack of cigarettes. And he wrote his name. So I took it over there. And I had his ID with me. And she let me buy the cigarettes. And every day, I would go around and collect change from everybody and do that. And then it got to the point where I was so embarrassed from doing it, I just started doing side jobs and picking up like cutting grass. Like, I did whatever. I'd take your trash out for $2. It didn't matter. And I hustled just so I didn't have to do that, because it was embarrassing. Like, all the neighbors was like, what the fuck's going on over there? These guys are like living rough. And we was like, when you open my refrigerator, there was nothing in there. There was a gallon of milk and a carton of eggs, and there was nothing in the cabinets. Like, it was rough. But around the first of the year, or around the first of the month, around the first of the month, my dad used to get like $50 in food stamps, and my grandma got 100. So we would take that to the store, and then they pumped them up to 100, and my grandma got 100, and it helped a little bit. But then he started selling it for beer. So yeah, there was no food in the house. I remember being 8 years old. Dude tells me, hey, I want you to take the food stamps, because that's back when they had the actual food stamp, and go to Pick a Save. Well, if you know anything about Zanesville, where I live at, I live on this side of the river. Pick a Save's on this side of the river. So I had to walk all the way down to the bridge, go across it, go all the way back to Pick a Save, buy a tall pack of pop, carry it all the way back home. And it was alright, because like once all my friends and stuff kind of like got spread around, and I started getting older, started getting friends and stuff, we started walking. They used to walk with me all the time, and we just hang out and bullshit on the way there. But for the most part, like, if you ask any of my friends, they remember walking places like that to get stuff, because we didn't have a vehicle. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I was 8 years old when life got super fucking hard. And not to mention, like, I was working a full-time job at the age of 13. I worked at the rink, and I did every time they was open, I was in there trying to work, trying to make money. So I got paid every 2 weeks there. It's like $75. So I took that and used it at the house on whatever I could, because $75 is a lot of money to us. And that's if I got to work like 3 days a week over them 2 weeks, because they pay me like $5 an hour, but they was only open a couple hours at a time. So I would try to work every chance I got, and then I started hustling, like cutting grass and shoveling sidewalks, and I did whatever I could. And it was weird because like me and Roger both, we didn't have a childhood. Like, I remember after I was about 6, 7 years old, we stopped playing with toys because we had to start working. And it was mainly because, like, it was either do this or it's really going to be rough. Like, it's going to be rougher. Not necessarily rough, but it's definitely going to be rougher. So my dad had us out there doing stuff like that. Yeah, more or less teaching us how to, like, depend on ourselves. And, like, I'm having that problem with my kids now. I always said I would never treat my kids the way I treat my dad, like my dad treated me and my brother. But it instilled a work ethic in us. But at the same time, I was so bitter because I never had a childhood. I always asked myself, like, man, what would it be like to have a normal family? Like, what would it be like to actually have money? Like, I used to daydream about that stuff, and I realized real quick that you don't have no friends out here. I mean, you can only rely on yourself and stuff like that. And it just put this nasty taste in my mouth about everything. And when I started getting into middle school, I realized that the only way I can get anywhere in life is if I had a high school diploma. Then 9/11 happened, and at this time, like when I was in middle school, from middle school to high school, I started taking school serious. Before that, I didn't take it serious. Like, I was in LD classes, I was held back and stuff. Like, I had a bunch of issues, and it was because of my lifestyle at home. I think it played a big part in it. I started looking at it, I thought I was just living like everybody else. Like, this is the hand you're dealt, deal with it. And that's what I was told. Like, don't cry, figure it out. So 9/11 happened. Me and all my buddies left school. School called me in office the first day we come back and kicked me out of school. They expelled me. So I was wanting to get my GED or my high school diploma before I wanted to go to service. And needless to say, all that happened. And I lost the chance to go to the service because I was in OD classes. The only way you get in OD classes then was to have a high school diploma. They'd take you straight in. As soon as you graduated, they take you straight in. It was the only deal they offered. Because nobody in OD class can read and write. Like, I got a 3rd grade reading level. It's hard. So, I lost that opportunity. And then when that summer, because it was like towards the end of the year when 9/11 happened, and it was like 2 months after that, summer hit, and everybody's on spring break anyway. Well, I was at my brother's father-in-law's house, and he offered me a job for paying for $10 an hour. So I jumped on it. I was like, yeah, cool. First time someone offered me a full-time job, because I was so young. Well, before that, no one would offer me a full-time job outside of the skate rink because I was only 13, 14, 15, 16, trying to work on houses and shit. And they was like, you're not old. No, dude. But I paid to pick up the trash. I paid to sweep, like whatever. But yeah, you're not working full-time. You're not swinging hammers. You're going to get me in trouble. So I did what I did. You know what I mean? Did whatever I could. And I remember Rich offered me that job, and I jumped on it, and I was so bitter about school, man. Like it destroyed everything. The snowball effect is what I was talking about. How I don't know if it's a family curse. I don't know. I think it is, because everything was going great. I was making honor roll, and then it just fell off. It's like we get so far in life, and then this wall's there, and you can't get past that wall, and it sucks. So, needless to say, I was bitter about it, and Rich told me, he's like, you should go back to school, dude. And he's like, you only got 2 years to finish, because I would have had to repeat it in 10th grade, and I already failed once. I failed 2nd grade, and it really hurt my feelings doing that. Like, learning everybody new in school, and going to LD classes, and like, this stuff's so embarrassing, it's not even funny. Like, it's embarrassing. And then all your friends thought was funny to make fun of you. Yeah. But needless to say, it's embarrassing. Not only did I live an embarrassing lifestyle, I lived an embarrassing life. So after school and everything, I just stayed working full time because I mean, at that point I was 18, just turned 18, and he gave me that job. I pretty much stayed working that summer. Well, like when I got that job that night, two of my buddies was with me, and he offered them a job too, and one of them took it. The other one waited till summer started, and then he took it. So he ended up coming on a month later. Then we worked full time painting in Columbus on new homes and stuff, and that got me started in the whole painting side of things because I wanted to learn at least a trade, and nobody would take me on at the time because I was so young. I didn't work on just anything. Like even though I worked on cars, like I could tear a motor down and stuff like that at the age of 18, nobody took me serious because of my age. And like I said, me and my brother was hardened at 8. Like we was 8 years old after grinding. So yeah, it's crazy how snowball effects just keep rolling out. And that was just then. Like that was just like from the age of 8 to 18, what happened in my life and how much it destroyed my life. And not like looking back at it now, like I seen it when I was like as I was going through it, I knew like, okay, this is bad. Like I knew it. And I knew like if I don't go back to high school, I'm gonna be stuck out here with a high school diploma. And you know as well as I do, you can't do nothing in this world with a high school diploma. I mean, you have to have a high school diploma to sweep floors in a school. So they wonder why they can't get no help. Like you can't get no electricians because you want a high school diploma graduate and they're doing it, or at least a GED. And you know as well as I do, I'm not passing a GED, and it makes it even harder. But there's a lot of hard workers out there that's capable of doing this stuff, but they don't have the credentials because of a high school diploma or a GED. And it kind of like tied my hands to where I couldn't do nothing. That's why I had to stay working and painting. And then after integrity fell under, because karma kind of like took through there and just gave them back what they deserved. Integrity fell under, and then I went to work full time with my last boss, and I worked for Octopus Services for 20-some years. And like this dude seen my kids grow up. Like I was close with his family. I knew his kids. I was close to this dude. And I remember I was sitting there working, and he was going through a divorce at the time, and his work was getting real slow. He was trying to tell me to cut corners and all this other stuff just to get the jobs done so he can get paid for them. And I didn't want to do that stuff because I got a conscience. And it sucked because I remember him, I was in the middle of doing something. I think I was painting a door or something. And I remember seeing and talking to my brother, and he was like, hey, you need to take your brother back because it ain't working out. And Roger's like, what you talking about? He's like, I just can't afford him right. I can't afford him. I can't make no money off his jobs. And Roger's like, all right, cool, whatever. So at that time, I started working with my brother. That's when I started working with my brother. But at that time, I was off for like 6 months. And like from December to April, I was off. It was a solid six months because I ended up getting a job at a factory at AutoZone. And the only reason why they hired me is because I worked at one company for so long. They knew that I would stay there. But even with my past and everything, with all my ups and downs and shit, and they liked the fact that I was clean at the time, and I had decent credentials, so they took me on. But it only lasted a year. They ended up changing a bunch of stuff around, and they had like a lot of people they didn't need at the time, so they was trying to just cut people out for no reason. And I ended up being one of them. I set my RF light off, and I didn't call a supervisor to come do it because I had like a whole line of people waiting for totes. So I went through the totes and then come back, and they fired me for that. So it kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth, and I didn't go back. Which I could have fought it. That's what I'm saying. That I could have been still working out there, but I didn't want to do that. I didn't feel comfortable out there. When you work on a house all day, you you kind of get used to that lifestyle, and it was nice just to go to work and work with your friends and then go home every day, and you didn't have like a boss over your head telling you like, tuck your shirt in, hurry up. Well, it's like that now, but needless to say, like, snowball effects suck, because it'll destroy your life and you don't even know it's coming. Like, I tell people all the time, like, all the stuff I've been through, you know, yeah, it made me or whatever, but, you know, it could have really destroyed me. But I just wanted to clear the air with that stuff about my dad and stuff, because a lot of people never heard my story like that, as far as like what all I've been through, like, and that's just the icing on the cake. These videos seem like a long time to do it, but they take like nothing to make. Like, it's nothing to sit here and talk about this stuff, because there's so much that I've already not even said. But I'm just trying to get you guys to understand it, you know, the drug life and stuff like that, and how you destroy your kids as slaves, and like, you really gotta be there for your kids at all the time, like at all times, because like with my kids, I gave them everything they wanted, and I'm having a hard time with my daughter wanting to like stay focused on trying to like grow up, because we kind of sheltered her and just gave her whatever she wanted. Not necessarily just gave her whatever she wanted, but she wants to go hang out with her friends and drive her car, and she's 20-some years old, and it's like, life don't play that way. You know, when it comes time to pay for your gas, when it comes time to pay for your phone bills and stuff like that, like, I think it's like, you got bills, and I'm still trying to work with her on that, so yeah. Anyway, I can talk about this stuff for days, but there is a grass is greener on the other side type thing, you know what I mean? Like yeah, me and my brother went through a lot of stuff, but he's doing really well. Like he said, he's got his own business now, and I'm working with him, but I'm not. He's rich, I'm not. I'm doing something different with these YouTube things, and I don't know. God kind of told me, like, you need to take this a little more serious, I guess, and because I'm paying it my whole life, and I feel like it's never got me nowhere, because I work by the hour the entire time. Like, nobody ever offered me a job, nobody ever said, hey, I need you to do this, and if they did, I would pass it to them guys. Like, there's a karma that comes with taking jobs from people, and I didn't want to do that, and definitely to build a foundation off of that, that's why my boss, I think that's why his business lasted long, because he went out there and he got the jobs himself, just like my brother did. He went out and got his own jobs and did his own thing. But when you're that type of person that someone's like, hey, I know you work for your brother, but I'll pay you to come do this stuff, and it's like, I can't do that, because it is not right. You shouldn't take customers from a company because you want to make more money. It sounds great, it feels great, it never lasts. I've seen every company that done that just crumble. That's what happened to Integrity. He was living off the back of Jerry Bookout, and he was paying everybody that was working at that company like $300,000 and up, and then paying the people that was actually painting the houses like $1,200 to paint a house as a crew of 5 to live off that. So we'd have to paint 3 or 4 houses a week just to make a paycheck. So we was running through houses pretty quick. Needless to say, it was we had a lot of work. We did, because at the time they was putting up new homes everywhere, and it was actually pretty fun. Like, I looked forward to going to work because all my friends was there. We just hung out and had a good time. Yeah. But needless to say, hit that subscribe button, because I don't know, I might do this again. Maybe I'll take you through my like my job experiences and stuff, and how that turned out, and kind of go into maybe my my addiction, because that's a whole nother rabbit hole. I was was smoking weed at 16, and I didn't stop until I was 27. And that entire time, the drugs kept getting worse. Like, I never crossed the line with heroin and stuff like that, but for the most part, it was next, because it was getting to the point where I couldn't find anything else. So that was the next thing on line. And I had at that time, I've already lost a bunch of friends to it, and it scared me to death, and I didn't want to do it. So I got. It was actually weird how everything kind of worked out, because like Children's Services stepped in and forced me to do this stuff. So I just had to get like legit as far as that went, and then get my kids back. Like, me and the old lady's been sober going on a long time now. So I mean, it does get better, but you gotta cut that chain. Like, you gotta cut that chain and start your own. Because if you let that cycle keep repeating itself, it will. That's what I'm afraid of with my kids, is wanting to go out and hang out and party all the time and stuff like that. That's why my family went through what they did, because all they wanted to do is go hang out in the garage and clown on everybody. And it was cool at the time, but everything has a consequence, and consequences suck sometimes. But hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment, really. Let me know what you think. If you want to hear some more about my story, I might do it, because I know a lot of people like to not say nothing about stuff, but when it comes to the whole sober thing, everybody out there needs someone's opinion on it. And I've talked to a few people. Like, I helped my old lady get sober, and she's doing great. I mean, I'm doing pretty good. I just wish I'd hit the lottery, but outside of that, and it's not the money. It's the fact that I hate worrying about, am I gonna make it through this week or not? Like, we can have water all this week, we can have gas all this week. It's like, bills don't stop, and once you get them paid, by the time you get money saved back up to pay them again, they're right there ready for the money. And you go to work, put a couple $100 back out of each one of your checks, and you're just breaking even. So it sucks, and I know there's a lot of people out there that feel that way. But hit the like button, and I love you, and God bless.